Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the select board meeting for October 21st. Quick shout out to Sharon. She's feeling a little under the weather. We hope that
Recording in progress.
she's feeling better soon. Can we have the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any public comment? Is Mr. Rial here for public comment, or is that going to be?
Mr. Rial is next on the list, so if there's no one else.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
go right to him.
No has public comment. We'll go with Mr. Rial.
Okay, very good. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I met with some of you a couple of months ago, just before your meeting. I had the tractor trailer outside and we looked at that to see some damage that was incurred back in the first week of January this year at 5:30 in the morning on the Brousseau Road. And I talked with my brother, Brian, been on the select board for 18 years, and I said, what do we want to do here? And he said, well, we'll have to repair it. And I said, well, what about the town? I mean, those limbs should have been trimmed. And so what about the town? He told me that the town will claim sovereign immunity. But really, there's a liability there. We're not interested in your money, so to speak. We're more looking to prove a point here. In other words, I went and looked at the trees on the Brousseau Road in front of what used to be Roger Cooper's house, and now where the next house down, where David Cooper lives. Those trees, there are 9 maple trees close to the road. They're 20 feet to 30 feet apart, each of them. And I measured where the limbs had been trimmed on the trees. I went with a tape measure and measured the cut and the height. And I had gotten a letter from Terry Crawford from Vermont League of Cities and Towns, and so she says, we determined that Highgate Town is not legally liable for the property damage to your vehicle. And speaking with town representatives, and I have no idea who she spoke with, we've learned that a few years back, branches/limbs were trimmed along Brousseau Road in Highgate. Since that time, the town was unaware of any other hazards or concerns. Upon notice of your incident, the town addressed this concern when time permitted and removed additional limbs and branches. Therefore, we respectfully deny your claim for payment. So I called her back and I said, I got her voicemail and I left her a voicemail. I said, your investigation has one problem with it. It lacks integrity. And I haven't heard back from her, which didn't surprise me. But here's the deal. The damage will amount to better than $2,000 that we're going to pay. We don't expect the town to pay it. We've donated a bulldozer, we've donated a loader, time with the bulldozer or loader for the town. We've donated topsoil. We've made hoses and fittings for different pieces of equipment for the town at no charge, no charge for any of this stuff. We donated rocks for a bank stabilization project. I don't know if that was $6,000 or $8,000. Donated that. So we're not here to gouge the town, so to speak. But there's a liability here. If the wrong person has a deal, it's going to cost all of us. So somebody has to be accountable. I mean, you can't say, in her letter, she says, 2 years earlier, some branches and limbs were trimmed. Well, listen, in front of the one house going to the end of the other house, of those 9 trees, the first limb that I measured was a 4-inch cut on the tree, 4 inches, 6 feet up. The second one was 9 inches, 7 feet up. The third one was 7 inches at 7 feet, 10 inches high. The fourth was 7 inches at 11 feet high. The fifth was 12.5 inches at 12 feet high. And the sixth was 6 inches at 13 feet, 4 inches high. Those didn't grow in 2 years. And if they were cut this summer, and I happened to come on to the boys when they were trimming them, cutting them, and I showed them what limb had caught the tarp and the arms and twisted them and ripped a hole in the tarp, spoiled it, so. But for her to say that, that's not factual. I mean, you can't trim a 12.5-inch limb 2 years later. It didn't get that big in 2 years. So what we're here to do is to tell you somebody needs to be accountable for brushing out the roads, and there's also trees on the roadside that need to be cut. You see them just standing there waiting for the next windstorm, and that needs to be paid a little closer attention. So not trying to point a finger at anybody individually, but trying to point out that there's a liability here. The town needs to take account of it and figure out how to deal with it. That's your business. That shouldn't be up to me to come and tell you that, hey, look, we gotta come up with over a couple $1,000s to repair our equipment because something wasn't done. Right? That's the point I'm here to make. That's all I'm up to. So, sorry to cause a stink, but fair is fair. Thank you.
Understand.
Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Rowe.
Thank you for coming in.
You bet.
Have a good evening, sir.
Yeah,
You too.
you too.
Good night. I know.
Okay. Shelley,
Moving on.
it's up. You're up. You're up.
I have prepared a very small check warrant for you. I think all of the departments take pity on me this time of year.
Does anyone have any questions?
No.
Do we have a motion to accept this?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No questions on that?
No questions. Not from me.
We have one more week of tax collection. Next Friday, the 29th at 4:30 is the due date. We will be open to the public. The doors will be unlocked on Friday, the 29th. After that, everyone will be considered delinquent. We are about halfway through. We've got about $3.5 million that has already come in. You will see a nice fat check to the school on the next check warrant. And so far, I feel like it's been very slow but steady. But it's hard for me to judge just how well we are until I see the large escrow payment electronic download come through. And I don't expect to see that before the 26th or 27th. So we'll know exactly how well we've done at the next meeting. That's pretty well all I've done. Collect, collect, collect.
And a good job you've done. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No other questions? Okay, thank you. Miss Wendy?
Yes, sir. And you have minutes from October 7th.
October 7th, I don't have those minutes in front of me here, I don't think.
No, I only emailed and then you have copies to your homes.
Okay, yeah. All right. This
This
might-
your nightstand.
As we know, I'm gonna kick the can a couple times tonight. I just kicked it the first time, so no surprise.
Got it.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the minutes? Everybody have a chance to see the minutes for October 12th,
No, 7th, I thought.
7th.
7th? I apologize. There's twice in a row.
It's all good.
Let's have a motion to accept those.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So there is a set of minutes for October 12th when the select board met with the village core representatives. I almost think those should be signed or approved at the next meeting of that same group rather than the select board signing them. Do you agree?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
We all set with that?
Okay, just real quick, the welcome sign is up, the 2 signs are up, they look amazing, hope everybody's had a chance to see them. They went up a day or 2 later than we thought, but they went up on that gorgeous weekend we had, the holiday weekend when the weather was so good. They look amazing, so I wanted to thank John Johnson and his crew, family that donated, and everybody that helped with placement. We're getting a lot of great comments like, have those always been there, or did I just notice it? It's like, no, they just went up. So, people are enjoying those. And our scanning project for our land records got postponed. They were supposed to be here 2 weeks ago. They bumped us because they were way behind schedule in Maine, so they are gonna be here starting Monday, 25th, for several days. Scanning close to $30,000 pages. Yeah. So that'll be a good project when it's done. And that is all I have.
That's it for you? Okay, thank you. Heidi?
Okay, we are moving right along. I'm gonna start with the municipal planning grant. So we've mentioned a couple times, we were working on a municipal planning grant for the Highgate Recreation Department to get some further planning and design for 3 big issues that they're struggling with. Not sure we're gonna be able to address them all with that small amount of money, it's $22,000. But I did send the application that we have together so far to you electronically, and there's a copy on the table. It's not due until November 1st. We're still waiting on a couple letters from MVU Athletic Director and Swanton Recreation Department, and to firm up our budget. But we have to submit by the 1st, so I need the select board to authorize that and sign the resolution. Please.
That's what we have here. Did you have a chance to see that in the packet?
Yep.
Have any questions? We have a motion to accept that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Can you just pass that, sign it and pass it down so
Yes, ma'am.
everybody can put their name on that, please? And the other thing was the EDA grant. We're still working on that, and we've been lucky enough to have an opportunity to get an additional funding from Vermont Housing and Conservation Board to assist us in some data collection for that, so we can really make a good case. So we're still percolating on that, but I think we're just got a nice boom that should help. other than that, I think everything else is listed under select.
Okay. Thank you. All right, the opioid settlement. I saw that in the packet. It was if we wanted to sign off on that, correct?
Yes, I'd have to go in and register Highgate is wanting to participate. And there was a legal opinion in there. I asked your attorney, and so he didn't see any reason not to.
So do we have a motion on the floor to enter into that settlement, the opioid settlement?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
With that, there was a request from the Department of Health to fill out a survey on the same topic, substance abuse prevention. And I didn't know if I'm the right person to fill this out, or if it should be like the rec department or the library or somebody that's meeting with people more often than me or has a better view. I'm happy to do it. It's a 10 or 15-minute survey, but again, you have any ideas who might
Any
be,
ideas, guys? It's not like,
more connected to that issue than me?
it's not like Ty don't have enough on his plate, but it seems like that would be, he is being in the rec department.
What about Mary?
Or Mary?
Mary?
Yeah, health officer. And she's not here to say no.
Yeah, I volunteer, Mary.
Good idea. So for your next topic, I put a grid in for potential uses for your ARPA funds. So they're just your big projects that we've been talking about: the wastewater system, airport infrastructure, transfer station stabilization, lost recreational income, and there has been a request very recently from the Cooperative Development Institute to use some funds for Anco Park. And here we are. You have a face now. Can you hear us? You're still muted.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yep. So the board just had your email and flyer in their packet, but if you want to just give them a little information on your request, that may be helpful.
Sure, yeah. So I work with the Cooperative Development Institute, and we work with manufactured housing communities throughout the state of Vermont. We help them when their parks go up for purchase. We help them form cooperatives and purchase their communities, and then run them, over the course of their loan. So usually several decades. We help them. We provide technical assistance. Sometimes it's a case that we help form a cooperative, and at some point there's a crisis or an emergency with infrastructure. And that's the case with Anco. You may or may not know about the Anco Mobile Home Cooperative, which is on Frontage Road, Virginia Lane, Arthur Drive. And they've been going through some really rough times, partly with infill. They've had some people living in the community that haven't been paying rent for years, and that have left all kinds of junk and debris, which a lot of people have seen driving on Frontage Road. Those people, 2 people are being evicted, but that leaves Anco with 2 homes that are in disrepair and uninhabitable, and they don't have the money to move those homes out. And so they'd like to clean it up and get new people in and have people paying rent and have it be a community that people like to look at as they drive by, and also be a community that people are safe living in their homes. So that's one thing that they need. And then even more urgently, the community was built in the 1960s before the state really regulated things, and they have 2 shallow springs as their water source instead of wells. And one feeds each side of the community. And one of those has gone dry. And I know that that's the case with shallow springs in that portion of Vermont. You know, a lot of those have gone dry, and it hasn't recovered so far. So they've been struggling with just 6 people paying rent right now and going through this eviction and having all these troubles with their housing, you know, the safety of their housing and other things in the community. They've been having to pay $150 twice a week to truck in water from Chevalier. Chevalier set up a temporary plastic tank to hold the water, but they don't know what they're going to do when it comes winter time, if that's going to freeze, if they're going to be able to afford to keep paying $150 twice a week to truck in water, plus doing whatever they have to do to try and heat the tank. And so my organization has been actively trying to find any agency that would help provide funds. I know there's a lot of ARPA, you know, COVID American Rescue Plan, whatever that stands for. There's a lot of money coming in to the state and to different municipalities and towns. And we've been reaching out to ANR, we've been reaching out to various funding agencies, and they're all telling us that we need to first go to the town, that all of the towns are getting these ARPA funds, and that we need to come to you and tell you about the situation and ask you if there's anything that you can do to help out the people in your community with this really sort of urgent crisis right now. And I'll just say a couple more things. You know, the people in Anco are really they're really good people. Like they really just want to live, you know, a lot of them have been there a long time. They just want to live a good life. There have been some problems there. Those are being taken care of with the evictions. But people are on disability, people are on Social Security. Most people there are on a fixed income. And so, you know, they just don't have the resources to do this without some assistance. So I'll just say that, and, you know, I'm here to point out this issue and mention that they really are good neighbors and they want to be good neighbors to everybody in Highgate, but they need some assistance right now. And if the town could see it to help them, that would be amazing. And they would be really grateful.
Question for you, Heidi, are there ARPA funds that are specifically for this type of, or these are just part of the funds that would come to the town to be used at our discretion?
Well, I think that use is one of the criteria that towns are given for the funding, but I'm unclear about a use that doesn't serve the whole municipality. I haven't been given information on that, so it's a very new request. Shauna just contacted me this week or last week, and so we haven't gone too far down that road. And Shauna, could you tell us the amount of funding that you need and what you're hoping to track down?
Sure. I mean, there's different amounts depending on what's done. You know, speaking with the engineer, Anco did get a grant earlier in the year to pay an engineer to do a study on what would be the best fix for the water system. That was before the well went dry. So at that time, we just knew that the springs were inadequate and we needed to do something. For an entirely new, you know, a new well and new distribution pipes, which is needed, you know, he put that at $175,000, but for an emergency new well and just pipes that go to the existing pump houses, $75,000, he said, should be adequate. So if all of the town of Highgate, you know, I know you have a lot of other needs and a lot of other things going on there. If all you were able to do was $75,000, that would go a long way towards, you know, and it's a preserving affordable housing in the town of Highgate. You know, manufactured housing communities are some of the most affordable ways that people can live, but there can be a lot of risk involved in when, you know, parks get sold or different things happen. The cooperative model is one way to try and protect residents against those risks because they run the community themselves. Nobody's making a profit off of their rents. Their rents are just going to pay the bills. Yeah, they could really use some help. And so I just came to let you know about the situation and plea for assistance, but I know you have, lots of things to consider.
Any other questions?
What's the average age of some of these mobile homes?
Some of the homes are, one that somebody's living in is from the 1970s. And so there are one or two people who are living in homes that are really not in good shape. And those are people on fixed incomes. This person in the 1970s homes is on disability. There's no way to get an individual, even from the USDA, they have some programs to help with home repairs or to help purchase a new home, but the limited income does not qualify this person for that. But other homes are newer. I don't know the ages of all the homes, but there are some newer homes. I think that's probably the oldest home there is the 1970s home.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know, obviously we're gonna have to talk about it some more, but not to sound cold-hearted, but I don't see how we could possibly use funds that were given to the town for use specifically for only a half a dozen families or 8 families. I don't know if there's any other way that we could reach out somewhere else. I don't know. We need to talk to you about the funds and how that works, but would definitely like to try to help them, but I just don't know if you were setting a precedent to do something like that we really want to set. So that's just my initial reaction. I don't know how you guys feel.
I agree with what you're saying, Kyle. And,
But we can discuss it more in
Yeah.
executive.
yes,
Shana, just reading here your letter, I know the well problem, but some of these houses or mobile homes don't have heat either. Is there no way to heat them, or is it just lack of funds to heat them?
I believe they all have heat now. I don't know about the 2 homes that will be where people are being evicted and the cooperative is going to be left trying to figure out how to get rid of them. I don't know about those homes, but I think everything does have heat now. But, the 1970s home, it took a lot of pulling strings because that kind of home doesn't qualify for weatherization, services in Vermont. It's too old.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if it's relevant or not, but I've also been speaking with Mary. There are 3 mobile home owners on my tax sale list, and the tax sale date is set for December 9th, 2021. And I think that's about half the park.
I think I didn't hear what you were saying, if you're talking about Anco.
I'm not near a microphone.
Yeah, you're a little bit far away.
I am far away. Hi, I'm Shelley. I was just saying, there are 3 homeowners in that park that are on my tax sale list, and the tax sale date is December 9th, 2021.
What does that mean, tax sale?
It means their mobile home could be sold for the taxes that are owed to the town, because they're very
Yeah, that's-
delinquent.
Probably the evicted, the homes that are being evicted. I don't know what the 3rd home would be.
Yeah, I think there's maybe 6 trailers total in the park, and
There's 8 right now. There's six people that are paying rent and 2 that haven't paid rent for years.
so 3 are on the list. I don't know if that's relevant information or irrelevant, but
We could send you that information on which ones are.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Is there any structure being considered to ensure that there are adequate funds tucked away to maintain a new system?
Yeah, absolutely. Our first step was to get money to do the design and the permitting for the new well, and then to apply for the funding to do the construction. That was when, before there was this emergency dry well. And going that route, we help communities take a portion of the rents that are paid every month and put that into a savings account for critical infrastructure, if there are emergency repairs or if there are other things that come up. So once they would create the new system, they would also be putting money into that account to address any issues that arose.
So it sounds like the people that weren't paying rent were in an eviction process.
Yeah, there are two homes where people are being evicted. And those homes are, if, they will just sit there for a really long time, probably, because the community has to deal with the water issue before they can come up with money to move those homes away.
Anything else?
Nope, nothing else.
Okay.
Thank you, Shauna.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for talking with us tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come and at least try.
Thank you.
So, back to your overall spending list. Are there other things that are not on here that you're considering? This is gonna be something to take into your budgeting discussions and look at what you have for obligations for the projects that are going on. And, more things may come up in those talks. A final decision on, I won't say a final decision, your preliminary spending plan needs to be submitted by April of 2022. So we should be coming out of your budget discussions with a better vision of what money will be dedicated to what.
I don't know any of the ones you.
Okay, that's just for your reference.
What about the Macy Road stabilization as far as ARPA monies or?
I neglected to put that on there. Oh, I know, you can't use our
Because it was AOT, right?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's AOT, you can't use the
You can't
ARPA.
use it on transportation
Okay.
issues for whatever reason,
Yeah.
so it's not an option.
Okay.
Okay, all set with that?
Yep.
You asked me last time to find some pricing on lawn signs. There was some in your packet that Lee was kind enough to share that they have just purchased. It's pricey. And I checked with Grizzly Graphics too, and they were far more expensive. They said that their equipment doesn't do that. It's very labor intensive for them, so they were like $40 a piece.
I saw that. I don't remember exactly who that was. You got the quote from. I saw the quote when they looked.
This one that,
Sun Rim or something.
the Sinorama was, 5-yard signs for $135. 10 for 200.
We're talking signs just stick in your yard. All
What
right, so
about-
I just went on I'm not gonna say the name on here, it's a generic website for yard signs, but you can get 100 of them for 97 cents each.
Yeah,
Custom made.
yeah,
The plastic ones like politicians use. That might be another option.
yeah. I meant to get it online today and I ran out of time, but yeah, I was assuming it would be cheaper to do it that way.
Yeah. I wanna stay local with business, but,
Yeah.
gotta look out for the taxpayer.
So, I don't know if that's even the way you want to proceed. So, it sounds like you could get,
I think we need to look into it more. I think because it sounds like that's pretty pricey for 5 signs.
to purchase them locally, yes, I think it would
Yep.
be, so.
Just said John Johnson. Did anybody think to ask him?
No,
I must have missed the previous conversation. What are the yard signs for?
Oh, instead of putting instead of putting slow kids at play or whatever.
Oh.
You see a lot of towns that have those little, almost like politician signs.
Okay.
Please no engine brake, that kind of thing. And see if that could be a less expensive route to get out of it rather than,
Putting a sign in front.
yeah. We thought that might get more attention than somebody seeing a sign that they won't read it anyway, so. But if they see something with color or something different, that might catch their attention.
I think it's a house for sale, look at it, oh, and
Yeah.
it wasn't it.
So we wanna look into that some more? Before we may wanna make a decision on that,
Yeah.
Right,
okay?
That is probably it, except that one of the things that was in, it was under the, for your information, has moved up to an action item. The Boudreaux easement was approved by the buyer and seller, so the town can sign that now. But the final copy is with Kyle. So the draft that was in your packet is what was accepted. So I just printed out a copy without the lines in red.
You have a chance to see that, guys?
Yes.
Can I say guys anymore? I can't say gentlemen or guys, individuals. So we have any questions? The Dems?
Nope, private. I just had that one.
No, you can't use that.
This is the one
That's not
in the
legal.
package.
Okay. Oh,
P.E.G.
Christopher Woodrow?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a, some,
There.
the town of
Dems.
Highgate. Christopher Woodrow. Private.
Yeah, it's different. It's scan size. Same
Okay,
thing.
they,
Just in color and
yeah.
smaller. Yep.
So do we have a motion to sign this?
Is this the last thing he needs for his closing?
Last thing he needs from us.
Mr. Pujo's private crossing agreement?
Sounds like he still has a buyer, so.
Thought we could get it in 2 weeks, it's only been 2 months.
Speed of government.
What do you think?
Well, there's a little note from Shauna. Thank you for letting me come listen in and give the plea for assistance.
Yeah, I can't read this. So was this reviewed by his attorney before we got it, just to make sure all the i's are dotted and everything's good to go this time?
Mr. Boudreaux's attorney?
Yep.
Yes, that was
Okay.
approved by the attorneys for the buyer and the seller.
Okay.
The red edits came from the state, so everybody is happy.
No, we have a motion to sign this?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay,
All right, you gotta put your name on that and you gotta get Wendy to notarize it. So we can get that back to him as soon as possible.
will do.
And I'll just mention that there's some redistricting information in your packet. Actually, Wendy's got quite a bit of information on it too if you have questions, but Corey Parent has agreed to come to your next meeting. There will be significant changes for Highgate in this proposed plan, so there's a map there for a quick reference at the back if you want to see what they've done in changing, in your
That was in the packet, though.
original files, the map.
Yep. Okay, yep.
Did you see that map?
So is this where
This is
I
the-
need to sign it right here?
No.
Yep.
You know what, Sharon, to sign it?
I changed it. No, I think he would prefer not to wait until the next time
Okay.
it can happen, so, thank you. So that is the current coverage, and this is the proposal, so they would be chopping off half of your district.
It's really affecting Franklin.
So, can you elaborate a little bit on this, or?
What, it's redistricting after they did the census,
Yeah.
and they found that they said that population of Highgate had dropped, and they're trying to get one representative per district, and so they're,
The district's smaller.
to make it our district.
So it'd be Highgate and 3/4 of Franklin.
So
Would
we're
be our
gonna lose
district.
Hango?
Yes.
This goes through, we're gonna lose Miss Lisa, yep.
We are currently lumped with us, Franklin, Berkshire,
And
Richmond,
Richford.
Yeah.
as Franklin 5. The proposal is for us to be lumped with the majority of Franklin, with a one, and have one,
That don't even make sense.
That's
one representative district instead of two. So when people run to be a rep, it could only be someone from Highgate or Franklin.
Or part of Franklin, you're saying, right?
Part of Franklin, it was like 380 people in the town of Franklin would be going to a different district.
If you live on the right side of Franklin, you ain't gonna go on the, run for the left side, put it that way.
Yeah.
Highgate isn't
So-
affected when it comes to that,
I
but
guess my concern with it, other than nonsense of it, is who's proposing this?
There's
And
a,
who do you talk to tell them how
no, it is.
dumb it is? Yes. I was going to talk about.
So I can forward you the email, there's a board or committee that was put together, and they sent the information to all the towns a few weeks ago with links. Here's the proposed maps, here's the list of towns. You could look at it 100 different ways, but they're accepting comments until November 15th.
Perfect. Thank you.
So I can forward
I
it to
think
you.
they
Yes.
have to do it every certain number of years by statute.
Yes, I
So
know
they're-
too, but
So they're obligated to do it, but Lisa Hango was the one that said, make sure that I get comments on this, so.
Yeah,
um,
because Franklin 5 is gonna be split.
And the deadline is November 15th to comment, so.
Yes.
When Cory comes, he can have you run down
Okay.
of what we should do.
Could you have Lisa come too at that?
Lisa is unavailable, she had something else going
Okay.
on.
Okay.
okay.
who's got something to have to say?
I think
Have you seen him lately?
that was everything.
No.
Just a reminder, you meet again on October 26th with the village core in the front office. This room is going to be occupied with a bunch of equipment.
That is, just to verify, that's Tuesday, the 26th.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Time?
Yes. 5:45.
Thank you. I get nebulous on these dates and times.
I don't understand why.
All right,
I have a few things for executive, and the rec department would like to go in and talk to you about personnel.
we have any select board items? Does anybody have anything
I have a
first?
question for the select board. Has the roof valleys been addressed?
Great question.
The what?
The roof valleys. Remember the valleys lifted last winter? And
I thought they were,
They were here pounding.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know,
Yeah.
I hadn't seen them.
So they have been addressed.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he came and, I'm pretty sure it was taken care of.
it was taken care of, and what he said is we need to do a little better job of keeping up with the ice and tapping it off. Because when it backs up,
It heaves and it just
Yeah.
it
lifts
will
everything.
pull the roof. So it behooves us to get up there when there's ice jams and just kind of get rid of them.
I volunteer, Mary.
Okay. We have a motion to adjourn our regular board meeting to go into executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.